Welcome back to the Spread Pick'em Show, week number 18, first time in history, I believe. We got Mike, Andrew. We are pretty much neck and neck on the season standings now after I had a bad week. You had a good week, but what's going on, buddy? First off, let me congratulate you on making the playoffs. You know, the Eagles had the most dead cap space in NFL history and still somehow made the playoffs. So congrats to you, although you're a first-round exit, but still congrats.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, actually. I felt like maybe there was going to be some kind of backlash, but, we figured it out, and we made the playoffs.
Yeah, listen.
And for all you Giant fans out there that are saying we had an easy schedule, we had an easy schedule when you predicted us to go 4-13, all right? So pipe down. That's all. I don't want to hear that garbage.
Yeah, now who's 4-13, right?
Set the record straight.
Look at that. All right. Let's go over last week quickly here. So the first game was the Miami at Tennessee game. We both took Miami. Big L for us there. I lost to Buffalo, won by half a point. You took the Falcons. They won by exactly 14. It was minus 14.5. So it's a BS Mickey Mouse win for Andrew.
Absolutely
we took the Patriots, who won by like 50, so that was a pretty easy one. I took the Colts, and Carson Wentz came back. I still got the L somehow. You got the Raiders, so good job by you. I took the Jets to be a plus 13. They lost by like only a few points, so I got the Jets. You took the Buccaneers, got the loss. Both took the Rams. They won but could not cover the 3.5-point spread. Both took the Eagles, who won by half a point on the spread, so we just got that one right. Giants, I don't know why you take the Giants, Andrew. I don't get it, but thanks for the free win. I took the Bears. Kansas City, got that one wrong. You took Cincinnati. They outright won that game, so I am now a believer in Cincinnati. That was a big game for them, of course. Seemed like Jamar Chase wrapped up the Rookie of the Year in that game. Denver at the Chargers. The Chargers were a minus 5.5. I took the Broncos. Bad choice. The Chargers won by a lot. You got that win there.
Is that one of my favorite bets?
Yes, it was. You took the Chargers and Packers as your favorite bet, so you're 2-0. I was 1-1. I took the Rams, actually, so yeah. Both took the Niners, got that win there late with Trey Lance at the helm. Arizona at Dallas. I took Arizona. Kyler Murray does not lose at Dallas Cowboy Stadium, so he continues that trend. You took the Cowboys. We both took the Lions. I wish we took Seattle. Both took the Lions, got the loss there. Both took Carolina, who lost this one by half a point. They lost 18-10. They were a plus 7.5, so another bad beat right there for us. Minnesota at Green Bay. I took Minnesota. Unfortunately, Cousins was ruled out after, but I don't think it would have mattered. Green Bay was by far the better team. You got the win there. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. I took the Browns for the last time this year. They disappointed me enough. And you took the Steelers as Big Ben plays probably his final home game there at the Heinz Field. So now we'll jump into week number 18 once again. So this is a weird week, of course. We talked about it with guys being benched. Guys might be sat halfway through the game, like Aaron Rodgers, for instance. And there are some weird spreads going on here. So just, I don't know. It's a tough week to pick, of course, but we'll try to do it. First game we have is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Kansas City's a minus 10, and we're both taking Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win for them, right? Like, they have to win this game to try and have any sort of bye week. So it's not like they're going to be half-assing this game. Maybe there's a backdoor cover because it is a division matchup, but Denver, I think they're done now, right? They're not going to compete anymore. They're out of the playoffs. I think they're ready to just go in the NFL draft. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get a better pick by losing this game. Not losing on purpose, because honestly, if they tried in this game, they'd still get demolished because it is the Kansas City Chiefs. But I don't think they'd be so upset with a loss in this game. Maybe Vic Fangio would be upset because maybe his time in Denver is nearing the end. But I'm going to take Kansas City minus the 10. Like I said before, it's going to be a game that they're going to try, and they're not sitting players, anything like that, and they're the far better team. So I think they can win this game by more than double digits. Not too much of a road trip, I don't think. This game is in Denver, so they played there a lot before. I'm going to take them minus the 10. I don't know if they'll be able to cover, to be honest with you. They haven't been able to cover a lot of these big spreads, but they've been scoring a lot of points lately, and I don't think Denver's going to score that many.
Yeah, this is more of like this is more about me having less confidence in the Broncos than I am feeling confident about the Chiefs right now. Since this is a Saturday game and we won't know the outcome of the Titans game, I'm sure the Chiefs will play everybody. They'll try to win that game, of course. We know that. So But the Broncos offense is just really bad ever since Drew Lock took over for Teddy Bridgewater, which is like no surprise. So I just don't really trust Denver to put up a lot of points. I'm sure there will be turnovers for the Kansas City defense in this game. And Kansas City, I mean, offensively, they're great. We know that. They still put up points last week, although their defense was terrible. But I don't see Drew Lock and, Cortland Sutton having the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase type thing going on there. So they should be better defensively. And, of course, I trust that Chiefs offense. Now, you mentioned that, Vic Fangio's job may be on the line, and sometimes guys play harder for a certain coach. So hopefully that's not the case for us. But Kansas City should win this game, I think, by a decent amount. And 10's not a crazy amount. So I'll take Kansas City even on the road as a -10, as will you. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas is a -7, so Philly has a bunch of guys on the COVID list right now, but they can come off the COVID list within 5 days, which is before Sunday, so they should be okay. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're both going to take the Eagles here.
Yeah, I think 7 points is way too many, especially in Denver, Dallas's favor on the road in Philly. Philly, first of all, very hostile environment for any team to play in, let alone the Dallas Cowboys. And no matter what time of year it is, whether the Eagles are benching players or Dallas is benching players, doesn't really matter. I think this is a real competitive rivalry, and I think both teams are going to show up no matter what. With that being said, I still think it's too many points. I know the Eagles have a lot of people on the COVID list, but like Mike said, they might be able to come off at the end of the week. I don't know how effective they'll be, like with 1 day of practice or not even 1 day of practice, but hopefully some of those key guys will be kind of helpful in that game. I know Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith both said that they plan on playing. They're not going to sit because I think the Eagles can still get the 6 seed and not have to fall back on the 7 seed. So if the 6 and the 7 somehow meet in the NFC Championship game, Eagles can maybe get a home playoff game somewhere in there. So I think the Eagles players that usually play that aren't on the COVID list are going to play this week. At home, +7, I'll take the Eagles all day. They've won 7 of their last 9. They're on, or 8 of their last 10 at this point. They're on a roll. So I'm going to pick them +7.
Yeah, it's just 7 feels like a lot. And I am banking on some guys coming off the COVID list. Now, if these guys don't come off the COVID list, Dallas probably has a good chance of winning by 7 or more. So I'm kind of banking on something that I don't know about. But
no Micah Parsons, though.
That is true. No Micah Parsons. By the way, I have a conspiracy about that. Do you think they just put him out on purpose? Do you think Micah Parsons is actually sick, or did they just rest him? Because I don't.
Well, if that's the case, honestly, man, let's not get whole conspiracy theory here. But if I was a team like the Cowboys,
I'm thinking what you're thinking. I don't know if we should say it, but it's true.
With as strong as this variant is, I would let some people take the week off and maybe experiencing some COVID so we wouldn't have to worry about it during the playoffs. Is that what you were thinking?
It's the first thing that crossed my mind. Yeah, I'm a weirdo with conspiracy theory. I don't know, but anyway, so we're not going to talk about that. But yes, I think that 7 points is too much for a matchup like this. And Dallas's run defense on the season is middle of the pack. We know how great the Eagles are running the ball. The Eagles are the home team, and it's an in-division game, so it should be closer. And I think Philly puts up a good fight. You talked about possibly fighting for a better seed. Dallas is coming off a very bad loss, but they don't really have much to play for. They have that division wrapped up. I guess they can move up or down in the standings right now, but there's no reason to believe Philly's going to lay down and just put up a bad performance unless there's a bunch of guys out. So I'm assuming Hurts is playing and a lot of the main guys on offense. Hopefully Goddard's back, of course. But if those guys play, should be a close game. Can Dallas win? Absolutely. But I definitely think it's less than 7. So I would take Philly with you. Next, we're on to Sunday games now, I believe. It's Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore's a -5.5. So here's our first disagreement. I'm taking the Steelers, and you're going to take Baltimore -5.5.
Yeah, I feel like I know where you're going with this. Big Ben maybe not losing. They do still have a better shot, at least than the Ravens, at making the playoffs at this point. I think the Ravens need the Jaguars to beat the Colts or something stupid like that. So at this point, it's actually realistic that Pittsburgh could make the playoffs. But I just think this is one of those Baltimore games where they just look so good, and people are like, well, maybe if Lamar Jackson didn't get injured, they'd make the playoffs. They're going to look like a playoff team this week. They're going to play really, really well. They're going to go out of the season on a good note, I think. And it just seems like a Baltimore thing to do this week. Pittsburgh, obviously coming off of that big win against the Browns at home, last home game for Ben Roethlisberger. That's at least what we think. So being Ben Roethlisberger's quote unquote last game, I think last week was his last game. That's where he wanted to finish with a win. I don't think he's as worried about getting a win, or the pressure isn't as much on him to get a win in this game because he got that win in front of his home fans. So I think Baltimore plays well in this game, and I think they can win this game by at least a touchdown.
If you think Ben Roethlisberger is not going to full on prepare for this game, you're out of your mind. He's going to come out and have a nice game versus a depleted Baltimore secondary. And it seems like Pittsburgh, I mean, look, it was a tough game to watch last Monday night. I tried to avoid most of it, but I did see the highlights. But, you know, the Steelers were able to get some stuff done offensively. Najee Harris finally had a big game on the ground, which was nice to see. But as I mentioned, I mean, you know, of course, the secondary in Baltimore is destroyed by injuries. And I'm looking at TJ Watt, looking for that sack record and how disruptive the Steelers defensive line was versus a better Browns offensive line. Like the Ravens offensive line, they have a couple pieces like Kevin Zeitler, the former Giants, having a really good year, but like their tackle spots are not that good. So I think certain guys on that Steelers defense can really, you know, create havoc in the backfield, and whether it's Huntley or Lamar Jackson, they'll have a tough time. So I don't know. I just need the Steelers offense to be competent. It might be asking for a bit too much here, but hopefully in Ben Roethlisberger's last game, he puts up a good performance. I'm kind of hoping for, you know, a nice little exit for him here. But anyway, I will take Pittsburgh. I guess Baltimore probably wins the game at home, but I don't think it's as far as a 5.5 point spread. So I'll just take Pittsburgh to lose by 3.
Does TJ Watt set the record?
Wow. I say he ties the record because he's down 1, right? He's down 1 sack right now.
Right, but his sack per game average would be the best of all time, I'm pretty sure.
He missed 2 games this year, so that's very impressive. Yeah. I don't want Strahan to lose the record, so
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not rooting for it either, even though I'm an Eagle fan. Like I kind of like Strahan, so it's there you go. I'm cool with him staying at the top.
Everyone loves Strahan. Yes, I mean my prediction is he ties. He gets 1, but we'll see. He's been amazing lately. Next, we have another same division game here: Cincinnati at Cleveland. It's Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum, so that's not very fun. But anyway, Cleveland's a -6 at home here against the Bengals. Now, the Bengals, I know Burrow's out, but, like, are they benching Chase? Are they benching Higgins, Mixon? Like, how many guys are out for this Bengals team?
I mean, I don't know completely. I don't know who's going to play, but I would guess that if Burrow's not playing the entire game, that these top guys are probably not either. And if they do, they're probably only playing the first quarter. So now you have to worry about Brandon Allen outside the first quarter with all these guys that he has practiced with, right? Like if he's practicing second team, then these are the guys on the field that he's been practicing with. So maybe it's not that bad. But I just don't think the drop-off between Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum has been that big of a difference this year. And I think if Baker Mayfield was in this game at -6, I think a lot of people might pick Cleveland -6. So I'm going to take Cleveland -6. I think Case Keenum's decent, like I just said. If he has a decent team around him, I think he could do some things. I just think Cincinnati, like I said with Ben Roethlisberger, had their big win last week. Right now they're in the playoffs. Not that they're not worried about this. They maybe could get a better seed in this game, but I think, they won their game last week. They're in the playoffs. I think they kind of coast in this game. Cleveland's out of the playoffs. They're angry. Maybe they get a nice big win here to end off the year. So I'm going to take Cleveland -6.
Yeah, I get it. I wish I knew exactly who was out this game. It's once again seems like way too many points here. Cincinnati is the better team. And as you mentioned, Cleveland doesn't have their starting quarterback, although he's not playing that well this year. But Cincy's defense is very good at stopping the run. So I just don't know if Case Keenum can go out there and basically win a game by a touchdown. Like, I don't care who it's against. Like, that's a lot to ask for a guy like Case Keenum at this point in his career. So I'm pretty much just taking the points. I don't have confidence in Brandon Allen. That's not me saying I think Brandon Allen's good, but like to lose by less than 6, like you better be able to do that, against Case Keenum. So I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be any starters on defense. Like I don't know if Hendrickson or Chidobe Awuzie and Bates. I don't know if those guys are playing either, but we'll find out. But I think 6 points is too many here. So just give me Cincinnati. I'll plug my nose and take Cincy, and hopefully they don't lose by more than 6. Next, we have, I am so happy this is the last game I have to watch, by the way. The Washington football team at the New York Field Goal Giants. Washington's a -7. I'm taking Washington. I forgot who you took. You took oh my God. Why? You're literally driving me crazy. It's a free win for me, so I appreciate you for that.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's Jake Fromm. Like how?
Look, I'm going golfing with Jake Fromm in week 19. Like his golf bags are in front of his locker room at this point. So I am going to go golfing with Jake Fromm on week 19. And I'll talk to him about this game. No, but on a serious note, I mean, you heard what Joe Judge said. I mean, these guys don't want to go on vacation yet. There are guys begging to come back to the team, guys begging that they don't want to leave the team. He's got this team in a fantastic place right now, and I just believe 7 points is simply too much. Washington almost killed Jalen Hurts last week with the whole gate thing. They're more worried about the name of their team than the way their team actually plays at the moment. I'm going to take New York Giants plus the 7. We're going to end 2022 regular season on a good note, or 2021-2022 regular season on a good note for the Giants. We're taking them plus the 7. I honestly could see them winning this game and being just oddly competitive at the end of the year. No. I don't think Jake Fromm got a fair rap in his first game against the Eagles. I just don't think he was used to the guys he was playing with. So I think Jake Fromm is at this point a much better option than Mike Glennon. I think that's fairly obvious at this point. So I'm going to take them plus the 7. It's just simply too many points, Mike.
I would have needed to be at least like 12.5 to even consider the Giants. They're that bad.
So why don't we adjust the spread? Why don't you give me minus 10 and we'll give you we'll give you minus 10.
This is a show for the public. Not I'll listen, if you want to bet off air individually, I may give you like 13.5. I might.
Wow.
Especially with the way
I don't know if I want to put money on the Giants.
Especially with the way Joe Judge was taking some shots at Ron Rivera's team. I mean, they're going to run up the score. If they can, they will run up the score, because Joe Judge was saying, at least we don't have guys throwing punches at each other, which is a direct shot, because the two defensive linemen, Allen and Payne,
he's playing with fire,
were punching each other on the sideline for Washington. It's like, I mean, just stop. I mean, Joe Judge is a clown at this point, and half the guys on the team didn't even listen to his rants. I mean, there were beat reporters asking about, hey, did you listen to Joe Judge's rant? And some players were like, no, I didn't hear about it. So, like, this is not going to fire anybody up. Jake Fromm couldn't beat out Davis Mills on the Bills practice squad last year. It's just, this is a joke. Like, the Giants will lose by at least 2 touchdowns. I have no idea why it's only 7. Like, this is going to be a favorite bet of mine. I regret not taking Chicago last week. The Giants should be in that Jacksonville Jaguars territory of being like a plus 15.5. There's no reason why it should be 7. None. I don't care if Washington's not a good team. It's just like, we are that bad. Bad.
I think there's too much bias going on here. I'm taking Giants plus 7. It's just too much. There's too much anger and toxicity going on right now, and I won't stand for it.
I actively want the Giants to lose this game. I will say.
Of course. If I was a Giants fan, I'd want them to lose every single game from like week 5 on. Or week 5. Week 10 on. Week 10 on. Yeah, I would want them to lose every game. It doesn't make sense.
Trying to think one
more.
Get
Evan Neal. Get your big boy, okay, 6'7", 350 out of the University of Alabama. Calm down, all right, and then move on.
I'm trying to think when I gave up on the season. It was like week 12. Like when we lost to the Dolphins, I think was when I gave up. All right,
I think I'm going to go back every single video. I might have genuinely picked the Giants more than anybody this year, any other team.
Probably.
I picked the Giants all the time, and they're 6-10 against the spread. I actually just looked it up. So
thank you.
yeah, there you go. 7-10.
Next, we have the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. I believe I saw Justin Fields is playing, so that's going to help. Minnesota's a minus 3.5 at home. Give me Chicago. Matt Nagy goes out with a bang, and you're taking Minnesota.
Yeah, Matt Nagy's not going out with a bang. They played better as of late, but again, they got their big win last week. They played the crappy Giants. They were able to destroy a team before Matt Nagy left. He's gone, and I think he knows he's gone. He keeps saying, I don't really know if I'm gone or not. He's gone. He's not going to be the coach next year. They're moving on. They're trying to develop Justin Fields with somebody else. Maybe you're right. Maybe he just performs that way and maybe tries to convince them, look, at the end of the year, I was able to figure some stuff out. No, I've had enough. Give me Minnesota minus the 3.5. 3.5 is a weird number. I don't really like to pick the 3.5, if I'm being honest with you, because I could see Minnesota winning this game by a field goal, especially with the way Chicago has been playing offensively. They have been better, been able to put up some points ever since that Packers-Bears game. So I am going to take Minnesota minus the 3.5. I think everybody's playing. Kirk Cousins is back. I think everybody's just going to play. They have no reason to play, just like the Chicago Bears, but it's a division game. I think they're the better team. I'm going to take them minus the 3.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of banking on the fact that Cousins might not play the entire game. I'm hoping I get some Kellen Mond action. I saw that was like a little rumor going on before. So I
They're not
saw
even looking at him.
I saw Mond
Mike
came
Zimmer
in.
said.
I don't know. I saw Amon came in and nearly threw a pick six on the first play. So if that happens, like I'm feeling pretty good about this. But it feels like with Chicago, it's gonna be one of those games where like obviously I want them to lose and get a higher pick, but it just feels like one of those games where like Nagy goes out with a win and Justin Fields like ends off his rookie season having a very nice game and they keep it close. Like if they lose by a field goal, I'm good. But I do think Chicago's alive to win this game. They got their, asses kicked in Green Bay last week, so that team morale is just very down right now. Mike Zimmer's job is not very safe at the moment. Maybe based on the contract it is, but there's a chance that this is Mike Zimmer's last game, and he's been there for a long time, and sometimes a voice gets worn out. So I think some Vikings guys, as Joe Judge said, may have some golf clubs in front of their lockers and may be ready for next year and to move on. So I don't have much faith in the Vikings putting up a great fight here, and I do think Chicago ends on a high note. So I'll take Chicago. I don't know who wins this game, but 3.5 was too much for me. So give me the Bears. On to Tennessee. Tennessee's playing for the first seed, I believe, so big game for them. Tennessee's at Houston, and Tennessee's a minus 10.5 on the road, and we're both going to take the Titans.
Yeah, I watched some Derrick Henry practice film today, and he looked all right. He looked pretty mobile. And I told you before we started recording that even if he's on the field and he doesn't necessarily run the ball a ton, you still can't give them that option to run it with him because they will take advantage of it. So you have to be careful on defense. Still have to play against Derrick Henry. So if he plays in this game, I really like this 10.5 number. Houston's one of those teams that, again, they might not get blown out, but they're definitely going to lose this game. And they're one of those teams that needs the picks that they're going to have to improve this team, especially with the uncertainty of Deshaun Watson. They might get a plethora of picks in return from him. They probably will if they do trade him. So I think they're ready to lose, and Tennessee's still fighting for that one seed, like you said, still have something to play for. So I think Tennessee responds after a big win against the Dolphins, and I think they try and hit it with some what was that saying?
Momentum.
Whatever. Yeah, hit the playoffs with some momentum. I think that's what they're going to do. So I'm going to take Tennessee minus the 10.5.
You use a great word like plethora, and then you forget about momentum. So I'm disappointed.
Plethora is a fantastic
really
word.
Had me going there.
You know who taught me plethora, Mike?
Grade school.
Guess what teacher taught me plethora?
Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Ryan. Shout out to Mr. Ryan. If you're watching, shout out to Mr. Ryan.
Missed that guy. I got to take him to Outback Steakhouse sometimes. I still owe him that. Anyway, so yes, I'm taking Tennessee because they're a team playing for the 1 seed. I think they just put it all out there. And you mentioned Derrick Henry. Whether he plays or not, I do believe that Tennessee realizes how vital the bye is for that team because they can get guys healthy. They kind of been beat up all year. So if they get that first round bye, it's huge for a team like that. Get home field advantage, take it away from the Chiefs. It's, they want to win this game very badly. And even if it's Deonta Foreman, he's been fine, not too bad. So I'd obviously prefer Derrick Henry coming back and playing a weak Texans run defense here. But even if it's Foreman, I'm not going to panic too much. Now, answer me this, because I kind of forget now. Didn't Houston win this first matchup? I think they did. Didn't Tannehill have like 4 interceptions, and they look terrible? I'm pretty sure this game was at Tennessee.
We're going to look it up.
But yeah, I mean, if they did, and my memory serves correct, it's a big bounce back spot. They're not going to get blown out by the Houston Texans in both games. They have them figured out now. Was I right?
Yeah, you were very right.
What was the score of that game?
22-13.
Ugh. Yeah, it ain't happening again. I'm sorry. Houston is just, as you mentioned, a team that's kind of on to next year. Maybe Davis Mills has a great final game of the season. I guess it's possible, but I think the Titans will be very focused at practice this week. They'll have a great game plan for this, and figuring out a team like Houston's not that hard. They should figure it out. They have a good coach with Vrabel. So give me Tennessee. Hopefully they win by, I don't know, a touchdown. No, not touchdown. 2 touchdowns or more. Minus 10.5. So on to the Indianapolis Colts. They're at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indy's a minus 15.5. Still not the biggest spread, by the way, but minus 15.5. You're taking Jacksonville. Okay, you're taking Jacksonville, and I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville here because I keep seeing those stats in the middle of the week that said the Colts haven't won a game in Jacksonville since 2014. It's kind of instilled in my head, and I know they like have a completely different team at this point, right? Jonathan Taylor is now really really good, which the last time they played he wasn't like the way he was now, and they have a new quarterback in Carson Wentz. I get all that, but they did lose to the Jaguars earlier in the season at home. Or no, they were within 7 of the Jaguars. Sorry, they didn't lose to the Jaguars, but they played them very tight until the end. There wasn't really a big game for them, so I don't think they necessarily have to crush a team. They obviously want to because they have to win this game to make the playoffs. They're not sitting steady in a playoff spot right now, but I think it'll be close. Again, that 6-0 number kind of gets to me that they haven't won a game in Jacksonville since 2014. So I really can't pick them favoring the 15.5. I do think the Colts are a better team than the Patriots, and the Patriots just put up 50 on the Jaguars. But I think the Colts will be able to manage this game a little bit better and kind of take more time off the clock and not have as many drives to put up as many points. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the 15.5.
Yeah, I see what you just said. I kind of see it going like that Patriots game. I see some Trevor Lawrence turnovers, unfortunately. The guy has a 10-17 touchdown interception ratio. Not good. Probably not what he envisioned as a rookie. So hopefully he bounces back. But yeah, I do think that this Jacksonville offense, I mean, even without James Robinson now, it's tough to watch. You know, you got Dare Agumbawale as like the bell cow back now. And it's like, yeah, I know he caught a touchdown in garbage time last week, but come on. I mean, this is not a good spot to be in here if you're Jacksonville. And I guess in division matchup, it should be closer, but you mentioned it that Indy kind of has to win this game, so I expect them to really go all out in this game. And I do fear a backdoor cover. I do fear a backdoor cover, but like Jacksonville has shown all year they don't backdoor. Like they just don't do it. Like they have every opportunity every week to do it. They don't do it. So maybe the final week of the season they finally figure out a way to cover a spread late, but I'm not picking it. So as I said a couple weeks ago, I'm done taking Jacksonville. I don't care what the number is anymore. Give me the Colts, minus 15.5. It's a crazy amount of points, but I don't care. So next we have a spread that's very confusing, and by the spread, it would seem like Aaron Rodgers is not going to play, but we don't know. Could play a half. We will find out. It's Green Bay at Detroit. Green Bay is a minus 3.5. I'm going to take the Packers, and Andrew is going to take the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, you made it sound like I was going to pick the Lions there. I almost got confused myself.
I don't have a graphic finish. I'm looking at the text message, so it's tough to find the game.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, there is a GB on that text message. Yep, so, GB. Yeah, I did pick the Packers because I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for at least a quarter. And I don't know if that separates these teams by 4 points, but I'm hoping that it does. I'm hoping that Aaron Rodgers gives the team a big enough lead for Jordan Love to just manage at that point. I mean, Jordan Love isn't a bad quarterback. He's going up against the Detroit Lions. I think he could put up some points. He's not playing with Devontae Adams or anybody like that. He's playing with his second-team offense, which is what he's used to in practice. But yeah, I don't think Jordan Love's bad. I think he can score some points and maybe continue that lead that hopefully Aaron Rodgers gives them. And the only reason I suspect that Aaron Rodgers will play a quarter or maybe even a half is because they did clinch the first-round bye. And you might be saying, well, if they clinch the first-round bye, why would they start their players? That would be 2 consecutive weeks without playing football. I don't think that's something Aaron Rodgers at his age wants to do. He doesn't want to take 2 weeks off, or maybe that third week is going to be a lot tougher for him. So I think he's going to play. I think a lot of these people are going to play at least a quarter. So I'm going to take Green Bay minus the 3.5.
I can make a connection. Back in 2011, the Green Bay Packers had a 15-1 season. Matt Flynn played the last game of the season. They had a bye in the first round.
And then they
lost to the New York Football Giants, like 38-20 something. So, yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers probably has that on his mind. He's like, look, I want to play this game, and I don't have to play the whole game, but give me a half. Give me a half, Mr. LaFleur, Coach LaFleur. So that's what I think happens. I think Rodgers plays a half, and pray to God he stays healthy, of course. But if you're giving me Rodgers and a half to basically win by 4 points or more versus Green Bay or versus Detroit, that would not Green Bay, versus Detroit. I think it's very possible. And you know what's going to happen this game, Andrew? I have what do I call it? Just a out-of-the-box prediction for this game. So you know how the Lions have Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
His brother is on the other team?
His brother's on the other team. Equanimeous St. Brown's going to get some playing time in that second half. And he's probably I'm sure he's happy for his brother, but he's also like, hey, I'm big bro. I can play football at a high level. Put me on the field and see what happens.
Not bad, Mike. It's not
I'm going to
bad.
say Equinemius St. Brown has an 80-yard second half and scores a touchdown. Packers cover. Bang.
All right, so what you're saying is now that Antonio Brown's not playing for me in fantasy, I should pick up Equinemius. Is that his name?
Sure. Yeah, Equinemius. Yeah.
Equinemius St. Brown and put him in.
I would not do it in a fantasy championship. And by the way, only plebs play fantasy football the final week of the year. So we went over that, though. I know. I just would not play in a league if that was the case. But no, it's more of like maybe a DraftKings play if you want to go really outside the box. I don't even know if St. Brown plays anymore, so don't take that advice. But just
I know he plays. I've seen him play.
He's made catches, but it's just one of those things that crossed my mind, so I wanted to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't like. How come Jared Goff didn't play last week? Because was he like out with COVID again? Because I thought it was Goff when we were picking last week. I guess not. I saw Tim Boyle out there.
Yeah, you're right. But Tim Boyle didn't look terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, Jared Goff's a lot better, but I'm just saying.
The way that Seattle kind of like just destroyed that defense, it was concerning. So give me the Packers, whether it's Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, or it's both. I don't care. Give me the Packers. Only 3.5 points. Next, we have the New York Football Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's a minus 16.5. So Buffalo, I think it's like a must win for them, kind of for seeding reasons, not like a must win getting the playoffs, but just for a better seed. So they're going to put their starters out there, but we both like how the Jets have been playing lately. And
yes,
we're going to take the New York Jets here.
Yeah, we're taking the New York Jets plus the 16.5 because Zachy Wilson looking very, very nice these last few weeks. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. While you're talking, I'll probably look these up. But I haven't seen the guy turn the ball over at all in the last 4 or 5 weeks. He has been really secure with the ball. And I was just thinking about this the other day. If you were to choose one improvement from your quarterback just to see throughout his rookie year, it is for a guy like him who had the highest interception percentage at one point this year, go on a 5-game streak with no interceptions at the end of the year. That's big time. That's big time improvement. If I'm Robert Saleh, I'm very happy with that. And I think they're very happy with Zach Wilson because he's turned into quite the game manager. He's finding the reads well now. He's getting those short passes out with pretty good accuracy. I don't know what his completion percentage is on the year. I think it's still under 60, but it's been really pretty good these last few weeks. So I think they cover the plus 16.5. They end the season on a good note. It's JetLife Stadium. Once again, they own the stadium. It's their stadium this year. It has been for a little bit. I'm not saying it's I'm just saying they're going to get the win and have more wins than the Giants, and it's going to become No, they're not going to get the win. But they've been the better team by far in New York than the Giants. I think if they played right now, both of those teams, Jets would be favored by probably a field goal, if not more. We're going to take the Jets plus the 16.5. Buffalo, like you said, is going to be starting all their starters. That kind of scares me a little bit, but who knows? Maybe they go up 30-0 at halftime and they take out Josh Allen, for the second half. So who knows? I think the Jets will cover the spread.
Well, Jets backdoor. We like
boom,
it.
Boom. Yeah, I think Jets get backdoor. Yes, Mike. Yes, Zach Wilson's a good backdoor guy. Good backdoor guy. Yeah,
game manager, backdoor guy. Yeah, the Jets have looked like a different team the past 4 or 5 games, and they honestly should have beat Tampa. We know what happened there, and I do have a fear that they're going to be so heartbroken over that in a way, and be like, do we really just blow that game and not play well? But I also feel like it might motivate them to play better in this game. I don't know. We'll see how they respond. It'll say a lot about the coaching there. But, I always say Buffalo kills bad teams at home, but, I'm going to go against that this week. It just seems like way too many points for a quarterback. As you mentioned, Zach Wilson has been playing a lot better lately, definitely limiting the turnovers. And, Michael Carter's back now, so the run game shouldn't be awful. So they should have that going for him. But I don't trust the Jets defense. That's my problem. But I look at 16.5, and all I need is a Jets blocked field goal, blocked punt, just some stupid play like that, and we're pretty much in business. So I don't know. It just feels like a lot has to go right here for Buffalo to win this game by 20 points or more or whatever. So I'll just take the Jets. They probably don't win, but hopefully they lose by 10. I don't know.
So here's my Zach Wilson interception stats. He has not thrown an interception in his last 4 games. He's only thrown 2 interceptions in his last 7 games, and he's had an 80 or better passer rating in 4 of his last 5 games. So the guy's playing better, no question. He's playing better. And he hasn't played against like crap defenses. He played against Philly, he played against New Orleans, he played against Miami, he played against Tampa, all those games. He actually the Philly game he threw a pick, but those other games he didn't throw a pick. So I mean he's looking nice. If I was a Jets fan, I'd be very pleased with the way they finished the season.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think the Jets are in a pretty decent spot. I mean, they need like one more pretty nice offseason to really get things going, but they're in a good spot right now. We'll see what they do this offseason. New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints are a -4. I'm taking the Falcons, and so are you. Oof, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are winning the game.
Yeah.
I don't think the Saints are winning the game. I can't see it. Falcons at home plus the 4. The Saints have just been a bad team, and they beat up on Carolina last week, but they only won that game by 8 points. It seemed like it should have been a lot more. They were the better team, but for some reason, both of us had that feeling that it was going to be like around the 7.5 that we picked. It was going to be kind of close and not a blowout like Carolina's last few games before that. Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to win the game. They were a playoff team or a playoff competitor up until about 3 weeks ago. Whether you think they were good enough to make the playoffs or whatever, they were competing for a playoff spot about 2-3 weeks ago. So this team hasn't been horrible this year. They figured out a way to put up points. I just think New Orleans is done. And maybe this is Matt Ryan's last game in Atlanta. Who knows? Who knows how next season goes? Maybe he's treating it that way. So I'm going to take Atlanta plus the 4. I don't really know how to read this game. I wish we could just wipe this game off the slate. It's really quite an irrelevant game. But I'm going to take Atlanta plus the 4.
Yeah, this guy had the audacity to ask me before the show, "Hey, can we take that Saints-Falcons game off the board?" I'm like, "What? We did every game this entire NFL season, and now in Week 18, you want to take a game off?
It's just so stupid."
Give your head a shake. What's wrong with you?
Oh God!
I was actually going to ask you, do you think this is Matt Ryan's last Falcons game?
No, I don't.
All right.
I don't think the quarterback draft is good enough next year, unless they land Deshaun Watson, which I doubt.
Right.
I think, I think he's
I agree.
Next year.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice.
It's not like he's been terrible this year. Definitely could use some offensive line help. But yeah, when it comes to the Saints, they did not impress me last week. Their defense did, but like they also faced Sam Darnold and the incompetent Panthers offense, so it's not like that much of a surprise to me. We saw them in a prime time last Monday, 2 Mondays ago with Ian Book. Their defense kind of broke down at the end. They had no offense in that game. Of course, most of it was the quarterback situation, but Taysom Hill as a passer is just big yikes, not very good. So Atlanta hopefully can just stop the run, go all out, stop the run, and force Taysom Hill to beat you through the air. And the one thing about the Saints defense is they are very good at stopping the run, but Atlanta can't run the ball anyway. So it kind of mitigates like what they're good at. So hopefully Matt Ryan could put up a decent game in this one for us and keep them competitive. I do think the Falcons are alive to win this game, especially at home. It would not shock me. I think the Falcons are 7-9 now or something like that. So yeah, they might go 8-9, be very mediocre.
I don't like these new records, by the way.
Me neither.
Like I was looking up and down the divisions and I was like, oh, okay, it's like the end of the year. Because like you see the 10-6 and the 7-9s, and I don't like the 8-9s that we're about to see and stuff like that. I don't like
it's gonna take a couple years to get used to. I don't like it either, but we get used to everything eventually. So yeah, give me the Falcons here. I think they have a chance to win. I don't trust the Saints offense, so we'll go with the Birds. Next, we have another NFC South matchup. Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is a -8. I am taking Tampa, and Andrew is taking Tampa.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tampa in this game because they don't have a 1 seed to play for, but they still do have a 2 seed to play for. If I'm not mistaken, they're the 3 and the Rams are the 2. I think that's how it plays out right now. So they're not the highest seed they could possibly be at the moment. So they still have something to play for. And it's not like the Rams are playing some crappy team. They're playing a team that also needs to win in the San Francisco 49ers, and a team that has a lot of success against Sean McVay. But we'll get to that game in a second. I think Tampa Bay is 8 points better than Carolina. I think they might be 15 points better than Carolina. If they're playing how I expect them to play, which is at full strength, because I don't think there's any reason to sit anybody, I think they win this game by like 10 points. And I say full strength. I know they don't have Leonard Fournette in this game, if I'm not mistaken, and they still obviously don't have Chris Godwin. Not going to have him for the rest of the year. So they're
Ronald
not
Jones
at full strength. Too. Yeah, well, then there you go. So they're not at full strength, but as long as Brady, Mike Evans is on the field, Antonio Brown's out of that place, I think they have a nice game, and I think they win this game by more than 8.
Antonio Brown at Barclays Center these days.
Yeah, what was that?
I was very surprised. I was
He was
watching the.
lied to about his injury. That's why he left, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what he says. I don't know if I could believe the guy, but I don't know.
Get some help, Antonio. I know you watch the
Yeah,
show, man.
I just
We're
hope
rooting for you.
I hope he's okay. I don't know. It sucks. It's a Hall of Fame talent, and the guy just kind of went off the edge. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, all right. So for this game, yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay. You said it. I think they could have been like a -11, -12, and I probably still would have taken them here. So I don't know what the appeal with Carolina is. And you also talked about the seeding, how if they win this game and the Rams lose, the Buccaneers are the 2 seed. Now the Rams play the 49ers. That's like a kind of a toss-up game. I know the
Yeah.
Rams are favored, so they realistically could lose that game. I'm sure Tampa realizes that. So if Tampa wins, they are the 2 seed. Pretty much get home field advantage outside of if they play the 1 seed. So that would help out a lot. And I just don't think Carolina's a good team at all. Like I talked about their offense for the past few weeks, how it's broken. Sam Darnold does not strike any fear into me at this point. Tampa's defense, I mean, it's a little beat up right now, but, at the end of the day, it is Sam Darnold and the Panthers offense. So I feel like they'll be fine either way. And we know Brady's going to put up points probably. I mean, I guess Carolina's got some pass rushers on that team, but I just don't think they'll get to Brady that much to impact the game. They won't sack him like 5-6 times. They'll be fine. So I know they're kind of down a lot of running backs right now. You talked about Fournette, Ronald Jones hurt his ankle, so it might be the Keyshawn Vaughn show, but I don't know. They'll figure it out. They're still a good team, of course, a much better team than Carolina. So give me the Buccaneers. By the way, how do you feel about Matt Rule? Are you kind of like all out, or just you still got faith?
No, not at all. I think, and I kind of think this to an extent for Joe Judge too. I think they just gotten a bad rap. Like I don't think they've had a fair chance to really produce.
You don't think Judge sounds like a fool at the podium and doesn't
Oh,
manage
he sounds
timeouts?
like an absolute fool, and this is only hurting him. If honestly, I think his job was safe before he started opening his mouth. Now I think his job's like genuinely in question from upper management. I don't think that. I think he was going to stay 2-3 weeks ago, but yeah, he's just a blabbermouth. But again, I mean, I listen to a lot of radio. I hear this a lot. I kind of agree with it to an extent. Joe Judge and Matt Rule both had to build a system, their own system, a new system in a COVID year. Right, so that alone is a weird year. And for Matt Rule and both Joe Judge, both their quarterbacks were always hurt, and they never had a steady quarterback. Never really had anything. So anything steady. So maybe you're out on Joe Judge. I think the New York media is more out on Joe Judge, and the Carolina media is on Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule's a decent coach. Just don't think he's been given a fair chance. And maybe I think the same for Joe Judge. I'm not like. When I watch Joe Judge, I'm not screaming like, oh, my God, why'd you call that play? It's not like that. It's just like he's kind of not had success and is a fool at the podium. So it's nothing really on the field, but, what do I know?
If he did call plays, it might be even worse, honestly. So thank God he doesn't. But all right, San Francisco at the Los Angeles Rams should be a good game here. Some definitely playoff seeding implications here. Yeah. The Rams are a -4. I do believe that San Fran won the first matchup, correct?
Yes, they did.
All right, so I'm taking the Niners, and you're taking the Niners. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners because you said they lost in their first matchup. Kyle Shanahan has never lost to Sean McVay head-to-head. Never lost. I think he's 4-0, 5-0 at this point. Never lost. So that alone, I mean, for a guy like Sean McVay, who's as highly touted as he is, right? He's just a great game planner. He can figure out anybody. Somehow hasn't been able to figure out Kyle Shanahan. Maybe that speaks to Kyle Shanahan more than it speaks to Sean McVay. But I think San Fran has a lot to play for in this game. I think they're winning in. I don't know if they can still make it if they lose. I think they can. But they need to go out there and beat a division rival that they've already beaten at some point this year. And you could say, well, Sean McVay doesn't lose to the same team twice. I just told you he has. He's never beaten the 49ers. So it's very possible in this game for him to lose twice. And it's not like the Rams have had bad teams over the years. Like, they've been pretty competitive. So I think San Fran covers the spread. I think San Fran wins the game. And I think they help out Tampa Bay a little bit and themselves. So I'm going to take them plus the 4 on the road. Not too big of a road trip.
Yeah, them. I think the way it works, right, is that San Fran, if they lose and the Saints win, the Saints are in, right? And San Fran's out.
I can't believe the Saints still have a chance. I really hope the Saints just lose. They should have no reason to be in the playoffs. It would help out the Eagles because I think it would push them to the 6th seed. But no, they just have no purpose being in that playoffs spot. No purpose.
No, I'll tell you though, if Jameis Winston was healthy, they'd be like a top 5 seed probably. Would
Yeah,
have been
maybe,
good.
but he's
Yeah.
not.
Oh well. Feel
So
bad. Yeah, I don't know if Garoppolo or Lance is starting, but like I just feel like either way they'll be all right. I mean, you mentioned the Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay thing, definitely in our favor here. So, it is 4 points. It's not a crazy amount, but I also like getting the field goal advantage there. So I'll take that to my advantage. Yeah, I don't know. It should be a close game. And we see Matthew Stafford not play that well recently, honestly.
yeah.
I would love to sit here and compliment Stafford. I'm a big fan of his, but got to call how it is. The guy's been pretty bad with certain throws lately. So the Niners defense, I mean, they've had their games. They can be really good at times. And this could be, this seems like a matchup they always figure out, the Rams offense. And I'm sure you've seen that chart by now, how Sean McVay quarterbacks always kind of tail off at the end of the year, which is a very odd thing. It's happened for
Really?
like 4 or 5 straight years now. Yeah, there was a chart basically of like, I don't know if it was EPA or whatever it was, passer rating, whatever it was. But they had like, the first 2 months of the season, it's like you're going up, and then the quarterback, whether it's Goff or Stafford, just starts to go down as the year goes on. And it's like they just
Odd.
always figure out these Rams quarterbacks. So I don't know what it is. Anyway, not even Matthew Stafford can help them avoid that. So yeah, give me the Niners. They're alive to win the game, of course. It's kind of a not necessarily a must win, but a game that they want to win, because if they do win, they're in the playoffs for sure. If they lose, then it's in the hands of the Saints to determine their future. So give me San Fran there. And once again,
I
I
have
don't know
a.
who go ahead.
Oh, I was just I have a question for you. You said I think 2 weeks ago now, maybe three, that Matthew Stafford was going to get 5 touchdowns in one game and crack 40.
Oh, he
He
sucks.
still has not cracked 40,
No,
and I question whether he's going to get 40 in this game. He has 38. So you think he gets to 40?
I hope so. I don't know if he does, but I hope so.
All right.
I'll say yes, just to make it
Okay.
fun. But I always say yes for Matthew Stafford. So that's, take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, anyway, I'm taking the Niners, and so are you. So now we're on to the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. New England's a -6.5. They played the first week of the season. Miami won, so I'm kind of using that in here as well. But I'm taking the Dolphins, and you're going to take the Patriots.
Yeah, this Dolphin team is done. They had their shot last week. Their win streak got ruined in a terrible fashion. I just can't believe Brian Flores had their guys play like that, even defensively. I know Tua's not all that, and their offense isn't all that, and it
He
hasn't been.
stinks.
It hasn't been the whole season. They've played a lot of easy opponents that people have pointed out over the course of the year, but I thought that they would show some life in that game, like they were actually competing for the playoffs, because they were, and they just didn't show up and they didn't look good. And on the other side of it, New England scored 50 points, which they scored more points in that game than the Giants have in the last 5 weeks. And that's not anything against the Giants. This just goes to show how great their offense was and how terrible the Giants' offense is. So I think they're going to score a lot of points in this game. I know New England historically struggles against Miami in Miami, but it's always been against Tom Brady. So I'm going to take Mac Jones giving 6.5 in Miami. I think he can cover that spread. I think they can win by a touchdown. I think they can win by 30 based on the way that they played last week, the Miami Dolphins, and the way the Patriots played. So give me the 6.5. Again, it's kind of a crapshoot because, well, they actually will be playing their starters because they do have a wild shot at this one seed. They just need to win and then let other the things, the Plinko drop down the board. It kind of just it's wild, but they still have something to play for technically.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It seems like a lot of points, and Miami does stop the run pretty well. They're top 10 in the NFL for defensive against rushing yards, so I do like that, of course. And it might put the game in Mac Jones's hands a bit more, so I'm hoping that's the outcome. I do fear that this Dolphins team will kind of just be dead because they did not look good last week at all in kind of a must-win game. So I do feel bad for them in a way. But I don't know. This should be a game where I think Miami at least competes. I think Brian Flores is still a very well-respected coach from that team. So I don't really see them just laying an egg in the final week of the season. They fought back. It probably took a lot out of them. But just to see them go off 2 games in a row and play like complete crap, I don't see that being the case. So they had that bad game against Tennessee. They bounced back this week. Do they win? Maybe not. But I do think it's going to be closer than a touchdown game. So Miami, of course, I mean, they have a chance. It feels like every time the Patriots play in Miami, I know a lot of that was the Tom Brady era, but it seems like Miami always puts up good fights in those games. So I'm hoping that trend continues. So we'll see what happens, even though Tua is a fraud. Anyway.
Yep.
Seattle. Oh, yep. Really?
Big fraud. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So
No,
next,
no. Stop with this facetious crap.
he's
I'm
mid.
not dealing with this.
He's mid.
Yeah. Oh, all right, but everybody treats him like he's bottom of the barrel. I'll take mid. I'll agree with the mid. Everybody
Can we
treats him like
can
he's a
we
bottom
can
five
we
quarterback.
can we agree that Tua is somewhere from 20 to 25 for starting quarterbacks? Fair.
I would have to look. I couldn't say with confidence that he's
Got
in
to
that
go back
range.
and watch the tape. All right. Anyway. Next, we have Seattle at Arizona. So another NFC West matchup here. Arizona's a -6.5. To me, it feels like a bit too many points here for a Seattle team that came off a nice performance. And you feel the same way. We're both taking the Seahawks here, +6.5.
Yeah, it's hard to take Arizona. It's just hard because I don't know what Arizona is at this point. You don't know if they're going to be back to the same team they were with D-Hop, like that great one seed looking NFC team, or are they the team that played before the Cowboys or the team that played against the Cowboys. I don't really know what's going on with them. All I know is this might be Russell Wilson's last game, as a Seahawk, and I take that. I take that seriously because Russell Wilson is an emotional guy. He's a big winner. He's been a big winner all throughout his Seattle career, and I think he wants to end it off on a win, even though they're not in Seattle. And I think he knows that it could possibly be it, so he's definitely thinking about it too. And maybe they don't win the game, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think Arizona wins this game by a touchdown, especially with the way Seattle's been able to run the ball now with Rashad Penny. Their offenses just look better in general. Russell Wilson's looked healthier with his whole finger injury. So I'm going to take Seattle getting the plus, getting 6.5 on the road, and maybe hope that the division magic will keep this game close.
Yeah, based on the standings, if the Cardinals were to lose this game, they don't lose any ground in the standings. So it's not like there's not going to be a ton of like sense of urgency here. Of course, they want to win the game, but they don't have to win the game. So I have that going through my mind. I also just have like a feeling that whenever the Cardinals played very well, they just don't really back it up the next week. They seem like more of an inconsistent type football team. I mentioned how Kyler Murray's undefeated at that Cowboy Stadium. So, of course, they're not playing there this week, and I kind of, have that on my mind as well.
Right.
I know it's a home game for Arizona, but, Seattle and Arizona have had really great matchups for a long time, especially in the Russell Wilson era. So, as you mentioned, it could be his last game here, future Giant Russell Wilson. So, I do think he goes out on a pretty high note here. Probably tosses for a couple touchdowns, no turnovers. I think he plays pretty well in this game. So I know that Arizona's defense, for the most part, is pretty scary. You can attack their secondary, though. We might see a big Metcalf, a big Lockett catch, maybe both. We'll see some big plays for Seattle probably. And they cannot run the ball with Rashad Penny. So that definitely helps out their offense become a two-dimensional offense rather than like not being able to run the ball at all. So I do fear that Kyler Murray has at times this year used his legs to his advantage, but in a game like this where once again it doesn't really matter if they lose, we might not see Kyler Murray run the ball for 60, 70, 80 yards. Like I don't think he's going to use his legs that much and put his body at risk. He's going to be healthy for the playoffs. That's the most important part for this team. So with that said, give me Seattle as a +6.5. Now, for the finale, it's a win and in situation. I do think there's a lot of weird variables with this matchup. If a certain team loses, then other stuff has to happen. But if you win, you're in for this final game here. So Los Angeles Chargers at Las Vegas Raiders. I am taking the Chargers as a -3, and Andrew is taking the Raiders as a +3. Okay.
This was another game where I don't even know why I picked the Raiders. I have my dad's friend is a Raiders fan. I was rooting for the Raiders last week. I just think it would be pretty cool considering all that's happened to them this year if they made the playoffs. So maybe I'm going into this game a little biased. Actually, I'm definitely going into this game a little biased. They lost John Gruden. Obviously, they had to fix the whole team with an interim coach, and a lot of it was without Darren Waller. The whole Henry Ruggs situation. They had a rookie last week. I'm forgetting his name. It's slipping my mind. He had a DUI. They've just had a whole bunch of stuff go down. They had another rookie last year, that was threatening people over Instagram. It's just been a whole mess for them. But yet they're somehow in a win and in game in week 18. Isn't that just magical? Can't the Giants figure that out one year? Darn it. Can't they just overcome things and be in a game like this? I also think that the Chargers are going to be heavily bet in this game by the public. I think they're going to be heavily bet because -3 is not too many points for them. And I think this might be another I always refer back to this game because this game crushed me. Another San Fran LA game, the Rams game, the last time they played, where it was Rams -3.5, and you were staring at that number like, why is it so low? I think that's the way it is now, and I think Las Vegas wins this game. So I'm going to take them plus the 3. They go to the playoffs. Justin Herbert and the Chargers fall just short. Which, by the way, I think if the Steelers lose and these two teams tie, they both make the playoffs. So the Steelers play at 1 o'clock on Sunday. This is a Sunday night game or a Monday night game, whichever one. They could wait for that result and, slip a couple bucks between the two and agree on a nice little deal from the tie and both make the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Someone said they should take knees the entire game. That'd be funny.
That'd be really funny. I might hammer the under. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I listen, I think I love the Chargers in this game. They're one of my favorite bets. I think the Raiders are a bunch of frauds. I can't stand them. They win every game by 3. Even if it's against backup quarterbacks, it's like they don't deserve to win these games, but it's always, Daniel Carlson, 36-yard game-winning field goal. It's like, enough with the garbage. The Chargers are going in there. Or are they home or away?
They're away.
They're going in there and putting up 30-plus points on that stinky defense.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Rashawn Slater's going to take care of Ngakoue. No problem. I think the Chargers put up a lot of points here. I don't think the Raiders are that good. I really don't. And I don't. I know
you've been saying it for quite a while.
I don't know why they're 9-7, and this is finally going to be the game where I get to sit back and laugh at this team because they're not that good, and they will go home as losers, and the Chargers are going to the playoffs. One of my favorite bets.
You could sit on that couch and laugh at this team, but then when you walk back in your room and you see the Giants logo on the wall, you're going to remember that you're laughing at a 9-8 team when your team hasn't made the playoffs in 4 years. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so you can laugh all you want. But the fact that they're in a win-and-in type game at this point in the year, it's unbelievable. It really is. I think they would have made the playoffs with John Gruden. I really do. But the fact that they don't have John Gruden and how much he meant to that team as a whole, like Derek Carr and all those players on the team, I think it's very impressive. And I think this coach, they're talking about hiring John Harbaugh. They're talking about everything in the news right now. The Raiders are like, oh, who are we going to hire? I think if this coach wins this game and maybe even wins a game in the playoffs, I think it's hard to not hire this guy again with all he's gone through. He's been able to win some games that they should not have won. So I think he's keeping that in the back of his mind too. Like, let me go out and win this game and hopefully get this job.
I could see it. I don't even know the guy's name, so I'm not going to speak on that. But
I
don't
know
see
either.
It's got like an Italian name, I think. All right. Anyway,
yeah, he does.
Favorite bets. I'll go over mine first because I have them picked already. I'll give you a second to think. I'm taking Washington -7. Free money.
Oh, you're disgusting.
Absolute free money. Giants are awful.
Disgusting pick.
And as I mentioned, I'm taking the Chargers. The Chargers are healthy on defense. Okay. They're going to put up a lot of points offensively. The Raiders are frauds. -3 is not a lot. Give me the Chargers. What is yours?
You fell, buddy. You fell right into Vegas's arms with that last pick.
Good.
You fell. I'm telling you, fell right into that trap game. And then reverse the clip when we come back to this.
Okay.
I want you to edit this clip into the next episode when we're going over the picks. Okay? Do that for me. Take a little 10 minutes of editing and add another thing in there. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. My picks are Philly plus the 7. I'm going to take the risk there that most of their guys come back from the COVID list because it was on Monday. And I think these guys had COVID on Sunday. That's just my conspiracy. I think these guys had COVID on Sunday, and I think they lied about their symptoms just to play in the Washington game. But that's just all speculation, of course. Then I'm going to take – God. I feel like Tampa could be a trap game too. I'm going to take wow, this is difficult. Look it up all up and down. I'm going to take Tampa -8. That's what I feel comfortable with. I'm going to take Tampa -8 at home against Carolina. That's going to be my 2.
Who was your first one? Tampa and who?
Philly plus 7.
Philly plus 7, Tampa -8. All right.
Yep.
That's going to do it because the Nets are starting soon and Kyrie's back, and I'm super excited.
Yes. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yes. Well, half the time. Halftime, part-time player.
Expect the Kyrie holding his ankle thing if they lose in response to one of your lost tweets. Expect that. It's going to come.
You're just a jerk that makes fun of injuries. So
no, I don't make fun of injuries.
All right.
I
It
do not
seems
make fun
like
of
you are.
injuries.
If you
No,
post him
I don't make fun
spraining
of
his
injuries.
ankle, that's kind of shallow.
I think he's an ass. That's what I think.
Yep.
We'll move on to the next whatever here. But goodbye, everybody. But I think he's an ass. That's what I think.
All right, yeah. So this is it for the regular season. We'll be back for the playoffs. We'll do our playoff brackets next week and kind of make
Nice.
predictions. That'll be fun. So
Is that a separate video?
No, it's not.
Wow. So we're just gonna make this video like an hour and a half.
You cannot book me. Well, it's only freaking 4 games or 6, 7, 8 games. How many games is it next week?
I'm just very happy that for the first time in our pick show history, we get to pick one of our favorite teams.
Okay.
In these games in the playoffs.
That's great to know. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, so that'll do it. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you next week.